Hey there, fellow ocean-dwelling Factorians. We are back. I know it's been a bit, and I haven't really had anything posted in a while. I apologize for that. We'll kind of get into why that is as we do this build. Some things came up right off the bat. I'm probably going to sound like hell. And if I end up having a huge coughing fit, I apologize for that as well. Like I say, we'll get into the whys and the what fors and what have you. But let's get started here. So, last episode we set up production of all of our synthetic ores that we're going to be using. We've got it centered. And we're going to start working down here on converting those into our usable metal ores, and that's what we're going to cover today. So let's go on over here. Now there are four of the synthetic ores that we're using, and we're making 14 of the metal ores total. So we section this all out. And if you divide this up, you get like 3.5 spots per what have you, if we divide it out. So we're going to try and kind of center these somewhat as best we can within this area. So we're going to get down here, and I'm looking at the mini map. We're going to come over 1, 2, 3 markers, and we're going to come up here, and right about there, I guess that kind of gives us enough room. So we're gonna go ahead and start up with this first one, which is I was kind of looking ahead. Is the crushed sapphirite. We're going to go through the sapphirite process, and we're going to create it using the sapphirite process all the way down to purified sapphirite. And then the process for all of these is pretty much going to be the same. The outputs will be different, obviously, etc. But that's where we're going to go. So let's start off with our crushing. So we're going to do 4 and 4 for a total 8, and we're going to do 8 for each of these. That should cover any of our production to begin with. We can always expand as we see what we need. So that's the plan. So we're going to put down 4 first, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm centered. So anyway, like I said, I haven't done any recording in a little while, and the reason for that is a couple of things. One is, as some of you guys already know, I've kind of alluded to it in the past. I have lingering gifts, if you will, from my time in the military. 1, 2, 3, 4, and periodically that crops back up and gives me some problems. For those of you who don't know, I have some lumps in my right lung that the VA has decided that they don't know how they got there, they don't know what they are, and they don't know how to treat them. But what they know for certain is that they're not related to my time in service, despite the fact that I have documented exposures to various things over the years, etc., etc. So sometimes that flares up. And when it flares up, I start having some issues with gunk in my lungs. I wouldn't say fluid because it's not really fluid. It's almost gelatiny. I know, disgusting, right? But I get this kind of congestion thing going in my lungs, and it makes it hard to breathe. It makes it hard to hold on conversations because I cough a lot, that sort of thing. And recently, I kind of had one of those flare-ups. The other thing that did not help with that and made it even worse is we went through this big heat wave here just recently. And between the two of them, it made it to the point where it was going to be really difficult for me to do any kind of real filming without doing a lot of coughing and a lot of sputtering and what have you. And I just really didn't feel up to it. It takes a lot out of me. So that's the deal. I had some things going on physically, and now I'm, pretty much through it. I can get back to doing what I was doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we are. So we're going to get back into doing this mess, and we're going to go from there. But that's the deal. I have not given up on this playthrough. I just had a lot going on. Alright, so let's look at this process. Alright, so sapphirite. First thing we're going to do is we're going to crush it in our stone crushers, or in our crushers, our ore crushers, whatever you want to call them. Then we're going to make sapphirite chunks with that, and we make those in flotation cells. So the next thing we're going to want is flotation cells, and like I said, we're going to do 4, 4, 4, and 4. Now the flotation cells have a gazinta and a gazalta for fluid, so we're going to leave a space, and we're going to alternate these so that we can put pipes in between them. Yeah. And then we're going to come out of them to our next process. Oops. Forgot our space. Right? So this is going to give us crushed. And when it comes out, it's going to give us two things. It's going to give us crushed sapphirite, and it's going to give us crushed stone. So we're going to want to pluck off our crushed stone, right, and get that out of our immediate area. So we'll do that. And then we're going to want to bring our crushed sapphirite down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, and then that's going to make our sapphirite chunks. goes into for each of these. And it goes out of for each of these. And these are going to make the sapphirite chunks, but they're also going to make blue geodes. So again, we're going to want to get rid of our blue geodes. So left, blue geodes. Left, blue geodes. And then that'll be our incoming. Now, like I say, in addition to that, we have fluids coming out of these. Let's set up for our fluids. And we're going to cross connect them so that everything flows. Right? And one of the fluids is an incoming, and that is purified water. Just a second. Excuse me, sorry about that. And then outgoing is going to be sulfuric wastewater. Right? Yep, okay. There, so now we have our chunks that were being made, and like I say, they're going to give us chunks, they're going to give us blue geodes, and they're going to give us sulfuric wastewater, but we need to bring in purified water. So there's our two fluid connections for that. Now, that takes us to sapphirite crystals. And sapphirite crystals are made in chemical refining. We need to bring in a fluid, but we're going to get out just the crystals. So we need to leave space for our fluid to come in, and they're done in leaching plants. So next thing we want is our leaching plants, right? First we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just trying to give ourselves the space we need here. And if you notice, we're just kind of snaking this down. So leaching plants. All right, so one, 2, 3, 4, right? And we're going to tell that we need the sapphirite crystals. So then that's going to change us from having an input and an output to just an input. So if we flip these, we can do this and connect those two together, right? And then we can do our output, and then do a second set if we're not standing in the way of doing it. Now I could have, I guess, put those two closer together, but so what? since we've only got the one, but that'll give us some room to walk between them if we need to, kind of thing. All right, so there's that, and then once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And splitter. Right. And since we've got a pipe there, we'll come out with a pipe here. Then we need our goes intos and our goes outas. And realistically, it ought to be there, shouldn't it? To be in the middle. Not that it's going to make a hill of beans difference, but the only real difference being that it'll cost me an extra couple of belts, right? All right, so then that's going to give us that, and that's going to give us our output is going to be sapphirite crystals, so there's no waste coming out, right? And then lastly, it's going to give us purified sapphirite, and those are made in ore refineries. So, ore refinery. Whoops. Before we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Oops. Going the wrong direction again. All right. Ore refineries. Now, these are big bastards. So let's try and line them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off-centered a little bit, huh? I guess it doesn't really matter, but there we go. That's better. All right. So again, gazintas, gazadas, right, okay, and lastly gazintas. Oops. No, that's right. It sounds like, have they added some new sound design to this? I don't know. Sounds kind of squishy. Alright, so that comes down, that comes down, that comes down. Right? And then this comes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least that far. And then lastly, we got to break that down into its constituent ores. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Hey, look, and I put them in the right direction this time. All right. So then we need to turn that into our normal ores. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes out as. I don't know why I'm being so picky with that. Doesn't really matter. And then goes out as for the other side. Sorters for the other side. Gazintas for the other side. Right? Right. And then a single Gazada. And we did not tell this what we needed to make. We need that to do that. Right, and there's nothing coming out. And then we need this to process purified saccharide sorting. Now this is where it's going to get kind of, I guess, a little interesting. Oh, we fucked up. Excuse my language. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Right? Right. Okay, so that comes down, that goes in there, that goes out there. All right, so now, out of this, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ores, right? So, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then we're going to sort this. Like that, I think. And come up here, come like that. So now we're going to get 3 iron ore, 2 copper ore, and 1 of the other ones. So let's do this. Let's go right. Iron ore filter right, right? So that's the first thing we're going to pluck off. Then we're going to pluck off our copper, right? And then that's going to drop the next ones down and so on and so forth. Next we're going to do, then it's going to be silicone, nickel, titanium, and tungsten. So silicone, nickel, titanium, and then tungsten will just fall out the bottom, right? It looks like I didn't estimate enough because we're going to need room to move the, what you call it, so let's do this. All right, there we go. Excuse me. All right, guys. Oh, and just to stop any speculation, no, it's not the Rona. It's actually a lung issue. It's just, it is what it is. All right. So that is, I think, everything set up, with the exception of our fluids, right? So this one we need purified water. Okay. This one is going to be sulfuric wastewater. Oops. Do we not have? You know what we don't have? That we need is pumps. Because we're going to want to carry this away. We're not going to want it to linger about. So let's see if we have any. Yes, we do. We have inline pumps. All right. Right. And then we're going to have to power the pump. And then finally, we need sulfuric acid. All right, so that is all of the resources connected, right? We got all our fluids. we're going to have to decide what we're going to do with these guys. But I think what we're going to do is we will wait on them until we have all of them in, because I know each of these is going to produce crushed stone. I believe each of these is going to produce some sort of a geode. So we're going to feed the geodes back into our system to be reprocessed. The crushed stone, we'll see what we do with it, but that's that. Now we need to look at power. Right, that'll come down there, that'll come down there. And last but not least, right? I think that connects all of them. Everybody should have access to power. Now it's just a matter of hooking it to the grid. And let's take a look here. So 178, right? Give or take 170, well, 170, 173, something like that. Let's see what it does when we do that. Still the same because we don't have that coming in yet. But I think we are ready to see if this works. Eventually we're going to replace these with red belts. I think we can make red belts now. But we'll see how that does. See if it flows all the way through. Because if it flows all the way through, we can blueprint this. And I think the other processes are exactly the same. So we'll come in, we'll get our crushed. We'll pluck off our stone. It's going to back up pretty quickly, but that's okay. We're just testing it. And then that'll come in here. Yeah, and then there's our geodes and our little nodule looking things. Geodes go out. This is going to come down. We're not going to get a lot because it's going to run out because of the stone. But we know it's separating it, and now we're going to come down here. And yep, now we're processing it into the crystals. And again, we're going to run out. It won't be a constant. Now we'll get purified crystals. Yeah, there's the purifieds. And I think the nice thing about this process, you don't get the slag back, and you don't get the crushed stone back like we were getting from our ore sorters before, because this is all purified. So it's a more efficient process, I guess. So it's one less thing we have to route back into our system. Now what we ultimately will probably do, and I think I'm going to do it right now, is I think we're going to add a second set of inserters on the output to clear these out faster. What we may end up ultimately doing is putting a second belt in here, moving these down and putting a second belt if this does not keep up. But there it is, and it's all plinkoing out, and now we know it works. All right, so it works, guys. So now we can take this, is there any excess that we want to get rid of right now? We'll get rid of that. Create a blueprint. And then we got to do this 4 more times. But now we don't have to figure it out. So 1, 2, 3. It's going to go right there. Right? Yeah, they're lined up. So obviously we will have to maneuver our let's call it a bit. 1, 2, 3. And it looks about centered. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're gonna have to do our power lines a little bit. But that's okay. That's minor. All right. So the only difference being these are going to be different items to be processed, but it should be the same setup. So we'll get it all laid down. Come down to the next one. I had to grab something real quick. It's why I ran off while that was doing that. Oh, as you can tell, my train of thought wanders a little bit right now. Not thinking entirely clearly because of all of this. But, which is, you know, part of the whole not filming thing, because I was not in the form to be able to do any sort of really higher thought processing for the last couple of weeks. But we're back. Uh-oh. What are we out of? We're out of belts. Alright, we'll have to run and get some belts. Might as well dump everything else down first. That way if we run out of nanobots, we know we need to pick them up too. Looks like we're out of inserters. And underground pipes. We're just running out of everything. And it looks like we're out of ore sorters too. Alright. Not a problem. What do we need for the stupid ore sorters? Because we need how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. Right? Yeah, 8 of them. What do we need for the ore sorters? A whole crap ton of stuff. Now, I know I've got some of it up here, so let us see what we've got up here first. I think our biggest problem with that is going to be blue circuits, probably. Let's see. Any other materials? All right, now let's see what we don't have. blue circuits is going to be the big one, because we're not making many of those. Everything else we're making in somewhat bulk quantities. Blue circuits we are not making in bulk yet. We just don't have the materials for it. Yeah. I know someplace we can go to rob some, and we will go rob some of it. Because we can rob it from our science production, because right now we're not doing science. Right, so that's going to give us a little bit. We're going to need aluminum and brass. Looks like we need bronze as well. Let's go up here and get some bronze. You know, I say my higher processing is not functioning, and then I can seem to remember where every goddamn thing is. So I don't know. Bricks. And so what do we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 2 more, right? Well, no, we need 4 more. All right, so that's fine, but we'll have enough to get started. And then we're gonna need the other cinder blocks. Yeah, and then blue circuits and steel. Or blue circuits and iron. And the blue circuits is what's going to kill us. We're not going to have enough to be able to do it. That's fine. As long as we get it started. We will be okay. And then we need belts. We need, let's take all of those. We don't need those. One more. That, and where? There we are. Take all of those. Looks like we're also out of poles. Although I did not notice that. I think that's everything. Alright. I think that's everything we can grab up for now and do for now. jetpacks would be nice. That's the space exploration mod, right? Jetpacks are in there. That would be nice to have. Oh, crapsky. Well, we'll see. I didn't pick up Nanobots. See how far along we get. If we get close enough, we're close enough. I'll hand lay the rest of it. Excuse me. Alright, so we got to take care of getting rid of that. Getting rid of that. That one can stay. And then that should almost pass us through. We'll put one on the outgoing side. That should pass us through with all of those. Finish up over here. And then we can change our recipes. And hook our fluids up to where they need to be hooked up, because I don't know if they're the same fluids. Alright, we are out of bots. But I think all we really have left is a bit of belting. Which is easy enough to do by hand. Maybe a pole here and there. Right? Okay, so next is to change this to Jovolite. Right? Which is still going to give us crushed stone, which we got. And then this we're going to change to Jovolite chunks, and that's going to give us purple geodes and fluoric wastewater. Alright, so we change this to purple. And that'll be fluoric wastewater and purified water. And then this will change to that, and we'll need hydrofluoric acid. Right? And then this will change to this. And then this will change to this. And then that will give us iron, copper, aluminum, iron, copper, aluminum, zinc, cobalt, and tungsten. So what does zinc look like again? Zinc. All right. Zinc. Cobalt and tungsten, right? Okay. So the only thing we need to change now is the fluids on that one. And then this one is going to be bobmonium. Right, and that's going to give us crushed ore. And then this is going to be bobmonium chunks, which is going to give us red geodes. Red geodes and sulfuric wastewater. I think they all give us sulfuric wastewater. We'll go back and check, but I believe that's what they all give us. And then this is going to change to bobmonium leaching, which is going to require sulfuric acid. And that'll give us our crystals. This is going to be bobmonium that, which no byproducts, right? No byproducts. And then this goes to bobmonium crushing. And that's going to give us tin, silicone, so tin, silicone, silver, zinc, silver, what does zinc look like? Zinc and gold. Okay, so zinc, gold, and cobalt, which will drop out the end. And then finally, this one is, no, wait, shit. That's bobmonium. All right, well, let's change this a quick way. Oh, it looks like we're missing a flotation tank too. We got one. We didn't put it in because it wasn't dropped by the thing. Okay, so that's the bobmonium, right? Yeah, that's the bobmonium because that's the last one. This is the red stuff, which is rubyite. And we're missing a pole right there. And apparently there and there. All right, so that's rubyite. Rubyite's going to give us crushed stone and blah, blah, blah. Rubyite here is going to give us purified water in. It's going to give us cyan geodes. And it's going to give us nitric wastewater. All right. Which is in turn going to be used to give us nitric acid. And then that comes down here. And then this changes to this. And then this is going to be lead, nickel. So lead, nickel, what next? Aluminum, silicone, lead, nickel, aluminum, silicone, gold, and uranium. All right, so that's that. So now we just got to hook up our fluids, right? We're looking at an hour at this point. I think we got time to go ahead and get this hooked up. We'll hook that up last, but we'll get it ready. All right, so we need purified water and fluoric wastewater, right? So purified water we can just bring over because we're already bringing it over. All right. Fluoric wastewater. All right, what does fluoric wastewater look like? All right, we don't have it on the bus yet. Excuse me. Pump. All right, fluoric wastewater, right? And then I think we don't have the required chems coming in, but we will see. So that's purified water, fluoric wastewater out. This is hydrofluoric acid, which I don't know that we have. We'll find out. I don't believe we have it. Hydrogen sulfide gas, acid. No. We don't have hydrofluoric acid. All right. That'll be another item we got to bring onto the bus, but that's okay. I think these are contribute to one another, so once we get it started, we'll be all right. And I think we're making it over at the other location, so excuse me, just a matter of hooking it into the system. So let us bring in power. And bring in materials. And we can get that one started, at least as much of the process as we can do. And then this one, I think we're going to go the opposite direction with these pipes. Although that is also purified water, maybe we will tap into both sides on this. Right? Because we got to go over and snatch up this one. So we will also go here. And snatch it up from that side. Just because we can. All right. So let's shrink this down so that we can bring this in. Then we can bring the bobmonium over. Alright, there we go. There's that. So we need purified water in. We need nitric wastewater out. And again, we're going to go to the other side for this. We're going to need some more underground pipes. Yep, we're going to need some more underground pipes. Figures. I know we're going a little long on this. I just want to get this hooked up. You guys don't mind hanging out for a little while longer, do you? while we're at it, let us get, if I can remember where I'm making them. There they are. Bots. So this is nitric wastewater, which I am certain we do not have on the bus. We just added 2, so we'll put that one there. Right? That should do that. And then we'll have this one here. It looks like we may have to add some more pipes to our liquid bus. What is this one? This one is nitric acid. Which is our last one on our bus. We're going to have to add, for our last process, we're going to have to add a couple more pipes to our bus. But that's life. We will get that dealt with. All right. So there's that. We can hook up power. And we can send our ore through. Right, so yeah, so it doesn't have the fluid, so it's stopping there, but at least we know it flows that far. All right, last but not least, our bobmonium. And that's going to require our purified water in, and it's going to require sulfuric wastewater out, which is nice because we already have that on the bus. Right here. We want to pump. And we want power for the pump. So there's those two. And then this is sulfuric acid in. So we're not going to have to add to the fluid bus right now, apparently. Break my heart. Right? and it already has power, and it's already bringing that through. So we'll just verify that it works, and then we'll call it that, because then we got to work on the fluid for the other ones. The middle two need some fluid conversions, which I believe we're already doing in small quantities. We'll just have to do it in larger quantities now. But it should work just fine. Alright, so there's our bobmonium chunks. We're not going to get any more because, of course, the stone and what have you. We just want to make sure it works. Because if these two work, the one that we already know works, and this one works, then we know the other two are going to work. It's just a matter of the other fluids. So there's our bobmonium crystal. There's our purified bobmonium. So we're going to need 3 more ore sorters. And like I say, our hold up on that is the blue circuits, which is minor. I mean, it's not minor, but it is minor. It's minor in that we are making them. We just have to deal with them. Right? And there comes our stuff. And then it'll plinko on down here, and we'll make sure it all gets sorted. We should have at least 1 in each of them, and we should not have any overlap. Yep, there we go. All right, so that's working. So we know everything is working with the exception of needing some fluids, and that's that. All right, guys, so there it is. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of those ore sorters made, and I'm going to look at the fluid stuff. We'll probably hook it up on camera. One last thing, let's go ahead and grab some research real quick, so that while I'm off camera we can deal with that. And one of the first things I'm going to grab, I think we're going to grab Covarex. Well, no, because God bless. That's going to really stress our blue production. Everything's going to stress our production of blue circuits, I guess, really. Let's go ahead and snag everything up to blue circuits. So let's go ahead and grab you know what, let's grab some of the ore processing stuff, I guess. We'll grab that. Yeah, there we go. All right, good enough, guys. That's what we're going to grab. All right, like I say, I apologize for this having been forever and a day till I got around to doing another one. I apologize that this one is long. It's just, it is what it is. You know, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So I needed to take care of myself before I took care of this. Now we're back in the business. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.